does the hospital administrator hold any liability, or does the
No, because
agent?
the woman said to you, "Are you threatening me? Are you trying to tell me that if I don't do this, you won't let me take my property out that door?" That's all she had to say.
That's right.
And she said, "You do know what you just did was extortion. That if I don't do something because you tell me to do or you order me to do it, are you telling me that you're going to hurt me? You're going to cause me harm? Is that what you're saying? Or if you want me to sign that piece of paper, ma'am, I'll be glad to sign that piece of paper. But you know what? You're going to have to come up with $1 billion up front first, and then I'll sign it. You want to order me? Order me. But I demand fair and just compensation to carry out your orders. You want me to perform a function? Fine. You're getting paid to be here and talk to me? Fine. I want to get paid to answer you.
I don't know. I think it's an uphill battle, really, honestly, because, I mean, there's no way to really, unless, like I said, not unless this private administrative process is basically the way to go, where I just write her a letter and say, do you dispute, that, or
he just told you what to say.
I mean, that's what you would have said. That's what she would have said in the instance that the agent approached her.
Okay, now all she has to do is go to who's ever holding the child and say, "I wish for my property to be restored. I wish for the immediate restoration of my property." That's it.
That's it.
Who's got it? Grandma?
Yeah, Grandma's got it now. And as a matter of fact, Grandma, he had to hire the male friend of this scenario here of mine. Basically, he had to hire a private investigator just to find out where the baby was being located, because at the time when CPS approached her at the hospital the day the baby was supposed to leave, I guess pursuant or respective to the contract that they signed, the baby was supposed to be going to the grandma's address. But in fact, the grandma had not went from the hospital to there for whatever reason. She went to her boyfriend's house and kept the baby there at another location that was not on record. So the private investigator comes back with this report, like 2 pages, and says that he sat at the lady's house, trying to locate her for a couple of days and was unsuccessful. So he interviewed a couple of the neighbors, and the neighbors said that she hadn't been home for several weeks, and that they would be that necessarily she hadn't been home in a few weeks or whatnot, and they didn't know where she was. Well,
okay. Before you're going too deep into this.
Yes, that's right.
Very simple. What state did it happen in?
Texas, of course.
Okay. No, not of course. Mine was Alabama. It happens everywhere. It's no big deal. What I'm saying is, who is liable if the baby drowns or the legs get broken? Is the state of Texas liable? Is the county liable? Or is grandma liable?
Like grandma, I mean, apparently.
Is grandma considered a foster care provider?
I wouldn't.
He's not. He's telling you to ask those questions.
Right.
I see.
I'm asking you. Right. If the baby accidentally drowns or gets strangled by his own diaper, whatever. Okay, who is the mother going to sue for the damage to her property? Who is she going to sue? Grandma, or is grandma considered a foster care provider, or is DFAC or CPS or DHR or DSS? Are they still have the capacity to place the child?
That'll put the fear of God into them.
Yeah.
Huh?
I'm sorry, I really heard what she said.
I just said that would put the fear of God into them.
Yeah.
Oh.
Are you going to be liable? Are you taking full liability for this, child then?
Yeah, that'll put the fear of Lentz in them.
Well, I tell you what, no matter what, I think they signed a new lawyer to the case.
Forget about lawyers, man. It ain't common sense unless it's Lentz sense.
All right, thank you, man. I appreciate the information, and I really don't know.
Just go find out, man, who bears liability if the child gets injured, harmed. Who is bearing the liability? This is her property. And if this girl or the woman, whoever who bared this child, doesn't have the understanding of what the word property is, she will never get her property, the restoration. It'll never occur. If she keeps saying child or baby or infant or kid or offspring or prodigy, if she uses any other word other than property, the government's going to not recognize it as hers.
Okay.
So she has to define it exclusively as it's her property. It's exclusive to her. Nobody else with the society can make a claim for it. And all she has to do is wish for its immediate return. That's all she has to do. Nothing else.
So she writes that directly to the grandma? Because, I mean, there's other players.
Right, and grandma's gonna tell her to go F off, right?
I believe so.
Good. Then now you just take that F off and you take it to your local mom and pop little district, small, what you guys would call a small claims court. To me, if it's a penny, it's worth making a claim for. I'm going to make a claim, and you guys want to call small claims, call it anything you want. It's just a claims court. Just go down to your local court and just file a claim that she has my property and I require its immediate restoration. And that's it. And the court clerk will say, oh, okay, fine, and she'll stamp it. And like I said that when I did with the folks in Canada, I said, see Exhibit A. I put the child's name down. I said, see Exhibit A, and I attached a photo of the baby to the, 4 kids who see Exhibit A, B, C, and D. So the court clerk can't give you any boo. They just say, see Exhibit A. So after the court clerk stamps it in and files it, says, okay, we'll have the grandma summons. Where's Exhibit A? It's like, I forgot Exhibit A. You know what? I'll bring it down tomorrow, and I'll make sure the other side gets a copy of it. Because then when she sees Exhibit A as a baby, then the court clerk's going to be like, oh, I thought you meant a yo-yo, a pogo stick, or a bowling ball.
And then I
didn't know you meant baby. It was like, don't worry about it. It's my property. Don't worry about it. And I make the immediate claim that I want the restoration to occur immediately. And let grandma come forth and try to prove that that's her property.
Yeah, very good.
And then they say, well, you got to take this to family court. It's like, no, where does it say I have to take a claim for property to be in family court?
Okay,
well,
but here's the thing, Carl.
They'll say that's a child. It's like you might define it as a child. I define it as property. Now, who's making a claim, court clerk lady? Are you making the claim, or am I making the claim?
Well, of course, Grandma's petition actually, morphed into a case number, a cause number, like family court. And so whenever
that's grandma's case.
Exactly,
that's not
case. Because I heard from a call once before from you. I mean, if they make a claim, then you make a claim. You bring your own claim. But here's the thing, when he goes into court or when he went to the county recorder, the clerk's office, he basically went down there to go and ask them, how much does it cost to make a claim? And they were like, I think they know and recognize this guy because he's been back and forth down there about that. And I don't know, I hear some feedback, but
a lot of feedback.
Basically, they recognized him, and when he went to ask how much would it cost for him to file his claim, they were trying to, divert the man to file all of his paperwork into their claim, into Grandma's claim.
Okay.
And by the way, Grandma's claim was only a petition.
Sir, hang on. Yes. If anybody's having a hard time with the court clerks, the simplest thing to do is put a lousy stamp on it and mail the damn thing with a check and be done.
Be done with it, huh?
Be done. No discussion at the counter, no nothing. They have to accept it. They stamp it. They file it. It's done.
And that's even in the case of a new case.
That's simple, right? I couldn't drive down to Alabama. I filed the case. I just put a stamp on it, put the money order in it, and done.
Okay.
If I stood at the window, you don't think they would have gave me a hard time to try to file my case? Because the individual in charge of Alabama's Department of Social Services was the chief federal district court judge in the federal district court in which I was filing my claim. You don't think the court clerks would have been trying to defend the chief judge of that district federal court by not accepting my claim? Of course they're told not to take any of my paperwork. So you just put a lousy stamp on and mail it.